You know, in the world of safety, certain words get thrown around that might sound like jargon, but they're not. They're actually incredibly precise tools that can mean the difference between business as usual and a total disaster. Today, we're going to decode that language, the words that really keep people safe. So let's get into it.
All right, let's kick things off with a question that honestly trips up almost everyone, even people who've been in the industry for years. Is there actually a difference between an accident and an incident? And you might be wondering, does it really matter? Well, let me tell you, the answer is a huge, resounding yes.
I mean, think about it. You've definitely heard someone say something like, yeah, there was a little accident, but don't worry, nobody got hurt. Or, we had an incident on site and a worker was injured. It sounds perfectly normal, right? But in the language of safety, mixing those terms up is a critical mistake, one that can actually hide some really serious risks.
Okay, so to really clear this up, we've got to build a solid foundation. Let's get our core definitions straight, because once you see the structure, everything else just clicks into place.
So, here's the absolute key. Think of the word incident as the big umbrella term. It covers any unexpected event, anything at all that had the potential to go sideways. That's our starting point for everything.
This is a great way to think about it. An incident is like a book where the final chapter hasn't been written yet. Once the event happens, it can only have one of two endings, one of two very different stories.
And right here, these are your two endings. If that incident leads to actual harm, someone gets hurt, something gets broken, we call that an accident. But if the exact same incident happens and somehow nobody gets hurt and nothing is damaged, that's a near miss. Both are incidents, they just have totally different outcomes.
This really hits it home, doesn't it? An accident is when the bullet hits the target. A near miss is when that exact same bullet, fired from the same gun, just happens to miss. The event was the same, the failure was the same, the danger was absolutely real. The only thing that changed was the final outcome.
Okay, let's put this into a real-world scenario we can all picture. A worker is up a ladder. Their foot slips. That's the unplanned event, the incident. Now, in outcome A, they fall. They hit the ground, they get hurt. That's the accident. But in outcome B, they wobble, their heart pounds, but they catch their balance. They're shaken up, but they're okay. That's the near miss. The event was identical. The only thing separating a trip to the ER from a sigh of relief was just luck.
Okay, so now that we've got the basics down, let's add another layer. Because the type of work you're doing completely changes the game. Understanding the context, the environment, is key to figuring out what could go wrong. You can split most work into two big categories, hot work and cold work. Hot work, well, the name kind of gives it away, right? It's stuff like welding, grinding, anything that makes sparks or open flames. The big danger there? Fire, explosions. On the other hand, you have cold work, things like painting, bolting things together. No sparks, but it has its own set of dangers, like exposure to chemicals or simple slips and falls. So think about it. That stray spark from a grinder, that's an incident waiting to happen. A can of paint getting knocked over and spilled, also an incident. Both are totally unplanned events, and both have the potential for serious harm, whether that's a massive fire or a nasty chemical burn. The context really does define the danger. We've been talking about harm, but that word can feel kind of vague. So let's make it terrifyingly real. We're going to look at a danger you can't even see, but is absolutely deadly: radiation exposure. All right, let's start at the bottom. Level 0. This is background radiation, measured in microsieverts. It's the stuff you're soaking in right now, coming from the sun, from the ground, even from the potassium in your own body. It's just there, totally harmless. Now, let's jump up to level 3. A single CT scan might give you a dose of a few millisieverts. And a millisievert is 1,000 times a microsievert. One dose isn't going to hurt you, but this is the level where professionals start paying close attention, tracking exposure over time because the damage can add up. At level 5, we cross a really critical line. At this kind of dose, radiation is physically dangerous. This isn't just a number on a chart anymore. This is when your body starts to feel it. Nausea, fatigue, headaches. Your body is officially under attack. At level 7, things get grim. Your body literally starts to break down. Your bone marrow, your immune system, they just stop working. At this dose, survival is a coin flip, a 50-50 shot, and that's with intensive, immediate medical help. The harm is now profoundly life-threatening. And then there's level 9, a dose over 10 sieverts, and remember, a sievert is 1,000 millisieverts, is just a horror story. It causes catastrophic failure of your central nervous system. Death isn't measured in weeks or days, we're talking hours, sometimes minutes. It is obliteration on a cellular level. Okay, so after running through that terrifying scale, let's pull it all back together. Why are we so obsessed with these words? The difference between an accident and a near miss. Because understanding that difference lets us get ahead of the danger, instead of just cleaning up the mess after it's too late. This right here, this is probably the most important thing to take away from all of this. A near miss is not a whew, that was close moment. It's not a reason to breathe a sigh of relief. It is a full-blown system failure that by nothing more than pure dumb luck didn't end in tragedy. It's a gift. It's a blaring alarm bell telling you something is broken. This is why reporting near misses is non-negotiable. It's one of the most powerful tools we have. They're your crystal ball. They literally show you, for free, exactly where your next accident is going to happen if you don't do something about it. Any culture that ignores near misses is just a culture that's waiting for an accident. And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? An accident always has a price tag. It costs money, it costs time, and worst of all, it can cost people their health or even their lives. But a near miss, it gives you the exact same lesson, the same critical information absolutely free. Wasting that opportunity is just inexcusable. So I want to leave you with this question to chew on. Think about your own life. That time you slammed on the brakes just in time, or caught yourself before a nasty fall on the ice. What was the system that failed there? And what lesson was that near miss trying to teach you? Because recognizing those warnings in work and in life is the first most critical step to preventing a real accident.